Let's see how easy it is to create 3D film titles like these, all within After Effects. First thing we're gonna do is we're gonna create some 3D models in here. Then we're gonna texture those. Then we're gonna light them. And then we're gonna add some adjustment layers to bring them all together to create these beautiful 3D cinematic titles. So let's get started. Here in the Cube tool, if you click and hold your mouse button, it'll give you 6 different 3D objects to choose from. We are going to start with a sphere. So double click the sphere, it'll bring that in. Over in your properties panel, make your way down to the hamburger menu and then get substance from community asset. Here we have a bunch of different materials that we can choose from. We are just going to go to, let's do concrete. Once you find the texture you like, go ahead and click the download button. We're going to go back into After Effects and then we are going to upload it into our project panel. We can go back to our properties panel, go down to the material section. We are going to choose the old concrete. And then we want to make this resolution go up to 496. Select my layer here, press S for scale, and then we're going to scale that up just a little bit. You can see that texture is a little big, so I'm going to take it down to 50%. Let's go ahead and duplicate that layer. Select the previous layer, and then we are going to go over into slicing, and then we're going to do slice start. We'll do 50%. Select your second layer, press S for scale. We are going to scale this down quite a bit. Under our slice, we're actually going to change this to 180. So that's going to be half of that sphere. And then over in our properties panel, we are going to select the hamburger menu once again, and then we're going to go to get substance from community assets. And I think for this one, let's actually try metal. You know what? I like this red metal. So download that file, and then let's bring that into After Effects. Let's drop it in our project panel. Down to material, once again, we're going to choose red metal. I think I want to add some smaller spheres roaming around this object here. Duplicate this first layer, hit A for anchor, and then I'm going to move my anchor to about here. I'm going to get rid of this slice, so I'm going to hit that 0. So now it's going to be a full sphere, and then I'm going to hit S for scale, and then I'm going to make this a lot smaller here. Then press A for anchor. If you press R for rotate, you can rotate this around, and you can see that it's hovering just above the surface there. And then under the Y rotation, we're going to hold down Option and click on that stopwatch. And this is going to allow us to add an expression. In the expression, we're going to do times, and then we'll just say 11. Call this moon. We'll call this planet, and then we'll call this core. All right, so now with the moon, I'm gonna duplicate that, and under R rotation, I'm gonna offset the orientation. The more random, the better. And then I'm just gonna duplicate that a bunch of times. And then I'm also gonna change the scale for these, just to randomize them a little bit. All right, let's go ahead and generate one more 3D object here. We'll go with the torus. 3 is the minimum for the pipe sides, which is what we want to do. So the inside radius, and then the pipe radius, let's make that smaller. Let's go ahead and hit Option and activate our keyframe for the X rotation. And then we'll do time times 4. Under our property panel, let's go to the hamburger menu and then get substance, community assets. And then we are going to do another metal, gold metal. So download file. Let's go ahead and bring our After Effects back up. Under our material, we're going to switch that over to metal yellow. Duplicate that torus and then go to R. And under orientation, we're just going to... All right, now it's time for lighting. Let's go under new light. Let's make this a parallel light. To make sure the cast shadows is on, click OK. And now hit P for position. And our light, we want to bump all the way up, all the way up, all the way up, all the way up, and then maybe Z space, we're going to push it back just a little bit. The intensity, we're going to bump that up just a little bit more. And then under color, I don't want it too blue, so I'm going to make this, actually, maybe we just make this a little yellow. Now we're losing a little bit too much here in our shadows. I'm going to add another light, so I'm going to go to new light. This is going to be another parallel light. Under color, we're going to make that same color and just go really light. Click OK. And then this light, we're going to hit P for position. And then this one, we're going to move down to the bottom. The intensity, we're just going to take that way down. We just want it to be a fill light. Yeah, we just wanted to give it just a little bit of depth here. Yeah, about 30 looks good. Okay, the background's looking a little dark. Right click in your layers panel and then go to new solid. Let's bump that all the way down to the bottom. Over in our effects panel, let's search for a gradient ramp and then drag that onto our layer. Let's choose like a slate blue. And then for the bright, let's go back to that slate blue. And then we are going to make this a radial ramp. We're going to swap colors. Now, if your computer is having a hard time with this, you can click this draft 3D button. It's going to be more of a preview so you can actually see what your computer is doing and you get a better idea of the animation and everything that's going on. If you don't need to do that, you can just turn that off and you can see that After Effects is actually really quick with these 3D objects and it actually renders pretty fast. I mean, you can see all the textures that are going on here and my computer is able to keep up with it pretty well. Okay, last thing we want to do is add a camera. So let's go to new camera and under the camera, let's toggle down the transform, activate your keyframes at 0 and then go over to, this is 15 seconds. We probably don't want it that long. Let's go over to 5 seconds. Use our camera control tool. So if you press C on your keyboard, maybe zoom in a little bit. All right, one last light we want to add in here. So right click, go to new and then light. And this time we're going to create an environment light. Let's go to Adobe Stock. And here we want to search for HDRI, something like this. So double click in our project panel, go to our HDRI, and then we are going to bring that in. Go ahead and drag that down to your layers here. And under environment light, select that image. And you'll see that by the intensity set to 100%, we are going to knock that down a little bit, 35%. Gives us a little bit of fill light and a little bit more texture. We want to add a new solid. Then we're going to make this white. We want to apply a CC ball action effect. Under the ball size, we are going to go down to, let's say 9. And then under scatter, we are going to scatter that all the way to the maximum. So it almost looks like dust particles. Select all the layers, Command-Shift-C to pre-compose. Call this system, click OK. Right click in your layers panel, go down to adjustment layer, and then we are going to apply a glow effect. And then under glow radius, we are going to bump that up quite a bit. And then we're going to duplicate that glow effect. And this time on the glow radius, we're going to go up a lot more. And then the threshold, something like that. Add a noise effect. We're going to make that about 15%. Uncheck the color noise. All right, let's go ahead and create a new adjustment layer. Look for the radial fast blur and throw that on there. And then for the center, we want to bring that up to where our light is. Just to tone that down a little bit, let's go ahead and change the blend mode over to screen. Let's try a curves effect. Let's try bringing this down. Just create one more adjustment layer. This time we are going to add a vignette. And then center, we want to bring that up to where our lights are coming from. Angle of view, let's make that just a little bit darker down there. One last adjustment layer here. And then this time we are going to add a curves effect. And then this time we are going to mess with the color just a little bit. And then the last thing we want to do is we want to give it some depth of field. So we want to go over to 3D channel extract. So you'll see that it gives you this kind of silhouetted image. Everything that's going to be dark is going to be what's in focus, and everything that's in white is going to be out of focus. So you want to make sure that this is more like so. And now that you have that set, you want to use the depth of field effect, increase the maximum radius, duplicate the system layer. For the top one, we want to get rid of these effects. And then we want to go to camera lens blur. And then we want to throw that on the top one. Under the blur map, we are going to choose system. We also want to choose effects and masks. Once you're happy with everything, duplicate the scene and then duplicate the systems. And in the new system, replace your 3D objects with some new 3D objects. In the Adobe Substance 3D Community asset, you can search for static models and then go all categories. And you can download any of these 3D models and then put them in your scene. Or you can go over to a website that allows you to download free 3D models. The one I use is CG Trader. OBJ is going to work the best, but you can also do the FBX or the GLB. Select free, and then here's where you can download these models. Also, just to make it seem a little bit more like a title, I added a text layer, and then I added a second line of text over here, directed by. Added a camera movement. Once you're happy with that, go back into your scene. You might need to adjust the glow threshold and the glow radius on some of these effects. And there you go. That's how easily you can create these cinematic film titles utilizing After Effects 2026 new 3D update. If you're still here, hopefully you've enjoyed the video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. I'm Julio, your motion sidekick, here to help you out on your motion side quest. And until next time, love you guys. Peace out.